Welcome to my June 3rd video update. This is an episode with kind of a potpourri of topics, nothing really terribly specific. First off, though, I'm testing a setup here. As you can see in the video, I've got my iPhone in this new Movo smartphone holder that I got to replace my ShoulderPod S1. Because it allows for inserting a microphone. So I had the video micro attached to the top of it, and then I've got it all connected into my iPhone using a converter cable, so I get TRS to TRRS connection, and I've got it on my GorillaPod. I had to put it up on a box so it was a little bit higher and it wasn't looking up my nose. But so that's something I'm trying out as I'm trying to put together my kind of mobile journalism kit. I'm changing the name for my purposes to mobile video storytelling, so MVS for short. A little more about that later. And the other thing is I had a pleasant surprise this week. I decided I wanted to use my Zhiyun camera. I'm charging it right now, so it's kind of connected. But this little camera, which I have now in my old ShoulderPod, so I can connect to a tripod because I'm doing a shoot tonight at an event, and I want to do some wide-angle shooting of the event while I'm there when I do a presentation with that, along with using my smartphone and taking pictures. Now, how I'm going to do all three of those things at one time, I haven't figured out yet, but I'll figure that out when I'm there. So anyway, I pulled the Zhiyun out. You may remember this is a GoPro knockoff. I got it like for $80, a Chinese knockoff of the GoPro. And it is a really pretty phenomenal little camera, and the audio pickup, which I've said before, is it just surprises me. I mean, it's a tiny little, well, you can't see it's covered up right now, but it's a tiny little microphone hole, so it really does pick up audio fairly well. If you're close, obviously if you're further away, it's not going to be so good. And then I had the other idea that, I got this new gimbal, and it's for smartphones, but you can get an attachment so you can use a GoPro in it. And so I thought, wow, maybe I should buy one of those. And then I thought, well, maybe this will collapse small enough that I can get my Zhiyun in here. Even if I put it in a case, I have a waterproof case for it too. Well, when you put this in the vertical orientation, so right now it's not vertical, but if you put your smartphone in here, when it's activated, it will, well, I'll show you. So if I turn this on, it doesn't have anything in it, so it's good. So now it's struggling. I'm going to turn it off because it's making the motor going crazy. You're not supposed to do that. But it will actually put the Zhiyun fits when it's put in that way, and it will actually then make the Zhiyun just like your smartphone. And you can put it in. It's in the mode that's already selfie because it's pointing towards you, since it doesn't have a front-facing camera. It only has one camera or lens. But if you turn it into selfie, what would be selfie mode with a smartphone, it's facing forward, and you can just walk around and take very smooth shots or capture clips with the Zhiyun inside the gimbal. So that was kind of a cool discovery. What I'm glad though is that I didn't order that piece for a GoPro because I don't need it. And if you have a gimbal like this for smartphones, and you also have a GoPro or a knockoff. Now the GoPro I think might have some things that get caught up in the connection here unless you have this plate that you put it on. The Zhiyun does not. I mean, it doesn't interfere with any of the switches or anything. So, and I can then control the Zhiyun from my smartphone. So I can put this in a remote place, and I can still turn it on and off and so on. So that is pretty cool. My main topic for this week are two problems that I have that I'm trying to solve. One of them is, and I'm going to hold my eyes open, is I close my eyes a lot. I notice if I look at watch my videos, and I see that I'll close my eyes when I'm talking, and I don't realize I'm doing it. But so it's something I'm now very conscious of and trying to break that habit. So that's one problem. And the other one is something that I'm really putting some effort into right now, and that is I'm using my smartphone, and you're tempted to look at yourself in the LCD. And if you do that, you're not looking at the viewer. So right now, if you look at my eyes, it should look as though I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the end of my phone where the camera lens is. But if I look over here into what looks like I'm talking to you, I'm looking off to the side. And that's to me, it's very disconcerting when somebody does that. So that's the second problem. And it's one instance of that problem. The other one I found, I was recording an episode for Photography and Technology Tools the other day. I'd gone through the whole thing. I was recording it with my Olympus EM5 Mark II, which has the flip-out, fully articulated LCD, so I could see myself, just as with the smartphone, or with the iPhone. And so at the end, when I was going over the recording, really irritating me as I watched it, because I wasn't looking into the camera. I was looking into the flip-out screen, which was not the lens. So when you're using a flip-out screen, when you're using a smartphone in selfie mode, you've got to make sure that you're looking into the lens of the camera, whether that camera is on a smartphone or whether it's on a regular camera. So you're not looking away from your audience. And then there's this whole debate that Michael Rosenblum has gotten himself into. He's all against the typical interview style where you're looking off to the reporter and answering questions, and so you're really videoing one's ear and cheek. And there's a reason for doing that in the old days, but he feels that that's no longer the case. I think I side on the side of compromise, where sometimes it's appropriate to record an interview this way because you are talking to someone who's asking questions, even if you don't hear the questions, as opposed to when you are perhaps being interviewed, but you really are talking to the people who are listening to you out there. And then I think it's important to look into the camera. So apparently it's a religion, so I'm not getting into it. Okay, so my resource for this week is once again James Wedmore. He's trying to help you improve your YouTube presence and so on, or just using video in your business. It doesn't have to be YouTube. So I've got a link in the description to a video of his in which he talks about 11-point filming checklist. And they're very good reminders of what one needs to do when one's going to do a video. So that's going to do it for today. I'm almost on schedule. It's Saturday, but again, trying to get back on that schedule per my video update from last week. I'm not doing so well with my my other two main series as far as having videos ready to post this week, but we'll see how that works out, because now most of our end of spring, beginning of summer events like graduations and so on are pretty much over, and it's free sailing except for weeding in the yard. So, and cutting boxwood, trimming, pruning boxwoods. So thank you very much for checking in, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.